Hello, family. I know we didn't give you much notice on this one, did we? We like to do surprises. And this one's stacked. I'm going to be honest, I didn't want to do tonight's class. I was telling Spirit, no, let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow. We'll just do a double. It was, come on. And so we showed up. Spirit showed up. We had 10 questions. Now we got 20. Today is going to be a stacked class. You're going to learn things quick and fast. This is about layering. Our bonus classes layer the teachings of our episodes. I apologize. There's going to be no fancy drawings from this one this time. But it'll give you the ability later to print off the PDFs and to create notes and to watch these episodes over and over again so that these teachings and layerings can start to build and, like our loved ones are saying, connect dots. That's the whole point of this. But before we do so, we are excited because we're going to start introducing the spiritual component to our Truth with Equity series. Equity, loved ones, is fifth dimensional energy. And depending on how possessed, how dirty you are, how many cords you have to the system is going to depend on how much you have to clean yourself, how much you have to make room in your cup. We can't give you new knowledge if you don't have room for it. And so that's why we encourage the spiritual component and our 4 cornerstones, which we have as courses, which we will post so that if you want to develop your equity wings, which we strongly encourage, so that you can see equity, because you cannot see it without your equity wings, loved ones. Be clear. It is a fact of equity, is that it makes you rise. And the system, it's filthy. It has tricked us to feed off of one another, to get our energetic hits, stealing and robbing our energy from one another, especially from our children. So in these courses, it teaches you to stop when you are getting triggered, and you know when that wind-up is starting. You know when the build-up is beginning to happen. That in that moment you stop, you breathe, you connect, flush that energy, send back that energy. More importantly, take back yours. Hear that. If you are sending out dysfunctional energy and cords for energetic hits, those cords are going to be soured because you're not supposed to be feeding off of one another. You're supposed to be feeding off of source. There's an endless supply of feedings from source. That's why the ones we get from each other, they don't last. And so this meditation that you're about to partake in, it's going to do all of that for you. In fact, we actually had to slow down the meditation. It was too fast for our loved ones that actually had a chance to have a preview to it. They're like, okay, I know why you're doing this divergence, but again, it was like a fire hose for a meditation. Now, be clear, this meditation is not meant to relax you. It's meant to get you jazzed up, fired up, jacked up, energized, clean, connected, and tapped in to the spirit of energy, or of spirit and of equity. Not to mention Equity's divine masters. And so with that, please get in your comfy positions. You're going to have a moment. If you want to go grab some crystals, that's right, we said crystals. If you want to grab some cards and ask Source to give you a message for after this course, do so. We believe in cards. Absolutely, it's an avenue and a channel in which Source can give you messages. And if you set intentions for it to be that, it will. Otherwise, how do you get your messages? Through your filthy self? No thanks. All right, loved ones, get ready. This is 8.5 minutes of jam-packed equity quickie meditation. coming at you. Enjoy.
Greetings, loved ones, and welcome to your Equity Quickie meditation. Let's begin by setting intentions to cleanse and charge our bodies, to ground to Mother Earth so our new wisdoms may become knowings, and to connect to the high powers and energy of equity. And so let's begin by taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Visualizing a cleansing, healing light entering your body, and now releasing any unwanted emotions or feelings with your exhale. That's it. Deep breath in again, watching as this crystalline energy rushes into your being, attaching now to anything of a lower vibration. This energy easily being released as you push it out with your breath. Deep breath in again. Fill your lungs with this divine healing light, and out, letting any attachments you have of low order to be quickly whisked away at this time. Continue with this mindful breathing, bringing attention now to the top of your head, your crown chakra, and begin opening this energy center like a lotus flower, watching as your beautiful energy starts connecting with the universe, the higher powers, and with the angels. Your energies joyfully dancing and spiraling together, a homecoming celebration that can be seen and felt by all present. An angelic reunion you will now have a few moments to enjoy. Now imagine this beautiful energy being witnessed starts entering your crown chakra and moving down your body. This highly charged universal light now purging you of anything that is negative, dirty, and not serving you, and effortlessly removing it by exhaling your hands and feet. You feel that, loved ones? That's the divine light rushing through your soul, like millions of activations all happening at once. This intelligent light is now illuminating areas within your being where you have cords and energy attached to others. This clarity making you aware of the importance to call back your power and sever any dysfunctional cords you have to people or things. Returning your energy back with love, understanding that you are no one's source and no one is yours. And so call back your power, brothers and sisters. Detach from these negative energy sources you've been feeding from. Choose to no longer let these lower vibrational energies attach. Rather, always stay connected to Father, as you should be. Your connection with Creator now becoming cleaner and stronger, accompanied with your deep desire to dispose of interests possessing you. Your awakened conscience calls for justice and peace, all clear evidence of your higher calling. And realizing this, we are finding grace through a guarded and secret position to finally free ourselves of sin, guilt, and wrongdoing that until now has kept us out of the garden and out of our natural state of peace and harmony. But right here, right now, you are being restored. You are showing signs of life. So let's take this moment to embrace the mercy of this innocence and to remember who and what we really are, and how powerful this moment truly is. And why is it so important? Because you are ready to love and be loved. And the powers have been guiding you your whole life, so you would remember this call and know what to do. And when it was time, you could apply everything you've learned, so you may take the next steps of perfecting your rightful position to become the ambassadors of peace that equity requires, to be worthy and entitled to Father's 5D garden, and to be brave as lions as we do, staying in trust and staying in control, showing all the divine beings that are watching us our limitless skill and ability to rise. This cosmic alignment continuing to build and strengthen within you, you start to feel a warm sensation beginning to flow all around. Colors that dance and swirl together, making your body and mind feel lighter, excited, and charged. Your senses becoming clearer, quicker, and more accurate. And from this aligned state of being, let's set intentions to connect with your spirit guides, with the galactic alliances, and all the helpers and healers of the light. Feel their presence. Feel their joy as they wrap their big, beautiful wings around you and now shield you in a protective sphere of white light. And from this place of joy and love, ask now that Source and these higher beings connect you with the energy of the truth and the energy of equity. Equity being a fifth dimensional energy our guides, the royal galactics and archangels know well. In fact, they have been awaiting your arrival, and they're so excited you're here. And so ask that these divine beings of light help you to learn and understand the energy of equity, and that the information you receive be in alignment with its frequency, and that the principles and messages from these sources come in accurately, clearly, and equitably. These equity masters start coming together and circling around you and begin beaming you light codes of knowledge and wisdom, a download that streams through your entire being, that starts flowing through you to the belly of Mother Gaia. A favor she quickly returns by securing and anchoring you against her belly, this making you feel so light and free. Your whole being is illuminating and awakening to seeing and understanding these once forgotten, now remembered truths. You see, loved ones, this is how we connect to higher powers. This is how we merge with the spirit of equity and its elite masters. This is how you fill your cup. More importantly, this is how you feed. You'll now have a few moments to enjoy the flow of this energy and the frequency and spirit of equity.
Feel that, loved ones? That's spirit and equity in the house.
You can see the significance. We're going to start doing this a lot more, where we're going to start layering these meditations with inputs, knowledge, wisdom drops, not just connections with the little U's and all these other things that we're talking about. Yeah, no, we're going to capitalize on this opportunity while we are inputting. Beautiful, beautiful.
We wrote an equity song.
That's kind of essentially what these are. Again, when you mash the music with it, that's all these really are. They're just kind of extended songs.
And we will release the normal version that's it's supposed to sound like after the vibration of our family catches up a little bit, because I assure you, you're going to want to hear it faster. And when you do, then you're going to start feeling more of the energy, that how it streamed through as it was being channeled. Okay, loved ones, here we go. We got 20 questions. We got to move through this. And so with that, let's go into question number 1. Legal is nothing without equity, and equity is everything without legal. True or false? After you do your answer, make sure you put it in the chat. Okay, family, legal is nothing without equity, and equity is everything without legal. If you answered true, you are correct. We slipped this answer a couple episodes back. We're seeing if you're paying attention.
And this is a maxim. This isn't something I came up with. This is out there. It's not one of the 20 primary ones, but why is that? Well, if this was in the primary 20, it would tell the public instantly, hey, wait a minute, we got to not do legal anything. So that's why they kind of buried this one in the background.
Okay, that moves us into question number 2. The entire legal system is comprised of contracts and contract law. True or false? Oh, looky. We got a lot of truths in the house. Question number 2, the entire legal system is comprised of contracts and contract law. True. Very good. Equity is present, loved ones, but no one has access to it within the legal system. It's there, you just can't touch it. Now, why is that? Because you're legally tagged. You're titled. And I remember Darren used this example months and months ago where he said, imagine you got, a legal jacket over top of you. And underneath are your equity wings. But you can't see the equity wings.
Or use them.
Because you got a big, thick, heavy jacket on you. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little clarity. All right, let's move into question number 3. Now, please note, loved ones, this question was too long to put into the Zoom quiz. So please refer to this slide. To receive temporary relief from the legal system, it is recommended you do a conditional acceptance where you agree to be the person on the condition that the Crown pays you first. This way, the Crown cannot force you to act in person until you are paid. True or false? Oh, you can't see my screen. Okay, one sec. There it is, loved ones. Okay, here we go. To receive temporary relief from the legal system, it's recommended you do a conditional acceptance where you agree to be the person on the condition that the lien on the person that the Crown pays you first. This way the Crown cannot force you to act in person until you're paid. Loved ones, this is false. There's a reason we are covering this question. We have loved ones tagging advice onto our platforms to do this. We are making it clear we are not advising that. And why is that?
Technically, it takes the same amount of time to create a contract as it does a trust. So why would you want to continue intercoursing and engaging with the person when you could use that time to express yourself as the man or woman in a trust scenario and be done with it. This right here, this is the wages of sin trap. And again, you'll notice at the very beginning of this question, it says, to receive temporary relief. What's the point of getting out of something so that in 1 week you're going to be subject to it again? That to me does not sound like relief at all. So this conditional acceptance idea, again, this has been around for 10 to 20 years. This has been one of our old school fundamental go-tos back in the day. But we're now coming to realize, hey, there's a lot better avenues we can all take rather than intercoursing with that person. Let's just take care of it, of course, and put it in a trust and be done with it.
Okay, so for that clarification, we're going to move on to question number 4, which is, even though you took the Crown's legal title right at interest, which we're going to now refer to as the try, the legal try, equitable try. Okay, so even though you took the Crown's legal try with the all caps name, you always have your equitable title and interest, so you can go and make things right. True or false?
That's a tricky one.
Mm-hmm. We got lots of different answers coming in on this one. There's some learnings to be had. All right, family. Even though you took the Crown's legal try with the all caps name, you always have your equitable title and interest, so you can go and make things right. False. What? Why? Because when you are in possession of the legal try, you always have the equitable right. The keys, remember? Remember you left Her Majesty's dealership with your Ferrari keys in your pocket. That's your right. Okay, and then your interest is your idea. It's the remembering. You don't have the title. Why? Her Majesty's got it back at her dealership.
So you can see why this is pretty sneaky. And again, not just the way we've worded this question. This is actually what's happening. They give us the right to always enforce it if you want to. If you're interested, but if you never expressed an interest, you literally deny yourself the right to do it. Ugh.
All right, so there has been some confusion around the title, right, and interest. So this is the reason why we're doing a lot of questions around this. So you can go, okay, what's the right again? Oh, the right were the keys. Okay, what's the title? The title was the car, the parking lot's the trust. So you start listening and associating those dots, because it's one word, loved ones, in court that can screw up everything. And so we're going to make you smart by keeping you sharp. So you don't have to go in with binders. You go in with your wings. That's trusting source. You don't need Satan's way of doing it, which is all the forms and the paperwork. No, you go in knowing that any question that's asked of you, okay, that means that, this means that. Your Honor. Oh, imagine that power. That's what we're going for here.
So just to quickly recap, you can see how, because we showed no interest in our equitable title, you don't have it. Yeah, you got the right, but without the interest, there can be no title.
Okay, family, let's go into question number 5. This is going to be a new topic for some of you if this is new for you. So perfecting your interests means A, you are no longer in possession of the legal all caps name. B, you have recorded your new standing with the appropriate statutory authorities. C, you are an asset within the game. and to Her Majesty, and you will be protected and treated as such. D, your legal title is now clean and in the hands of the proper parties. E, you get your equitable try back. F, A, C, D, and E, or G, all of the above. Oh, family, we can hear you thinking from here. Excellent. That's what we want. Okay, put your answers in the chat. Perfecting your interest means A, you're no longer in possession of the all caps name. B, you've recorded your new standing with the appropriate statutory authority. C, you're an asset within the game and to Her Majesty, and you will be protected and treated as such. D, your legal title is now clean and in the hands of the proper parties. E, you get your equitable try back. F, A, C, D, and E, or G, all of the above. The answer is G, all of the above.
So when you, excuse me, when you surrendered and assigned, delivered possession to a man or woman who swore an oath to accept it, because we're coming up, the legal title is clean because everyone has their stuff, this back in trust again, which entitles you to your equitable title, right, and interest.
Okay, so, 1 minute. Ooh. Oh, there's your freebie if you saw it. You only get one. My mouse was a little sticky. Here we go. Question number 7. A trust can be registered in the legal system, but is not available to the public. True or false? Oh my goodness.
Okay, then.
My goodness, I gotta go back here.
Why are you doing all this?
It's early on me. There we go. Now we're on the right answer. Here we go. Sorry about that, family.
Can you hear you?
A trust can be registered in, is that the question we're on? Yes. A trust can be registered in the legal system, but is not available to the public. True or false? And the answer is false. Now, the reason for this is because of the fact that trusts are for the living. They can only be recorded and not available to the public. This is important to remember. Private's private. Public has no access to it. Whereas contracts, they're for the dead, for the persons, for the all caps. All of that needs to be registered and available for viewing. Very different. If you're in the system, you will be viewed. If you're outside of the system, you won't be. Okay, let's go right into question number 8, seeing as I gave you a sneak peek to it. Question number 8 is, you are considered an asset to Her Majesty once you have perfected your interests because A, the proper owners are in possession and in control of their proper titles. B, because something other than debt notes is being used as collateral to support the trust. C, you paid and made up for your mistake with Her Majesty by starting a new relationship where she is happy and at peace with you. D, all your future requests from your trust will reduce the national debt. E, A, B, and C, or F, all of the above. Okay, family, lots of F's in the house. If you answered F, all of the above, correct. Rather than reading all of it, yes, this is all of the things that apply. But what's going to be interesting is the part, which is number D, reducing the national debt. This might be new for you. So, Darren, will you speak to that a little bit, please?
So the national debt, in a nutshell, what this is these corporations have borrowed your birthright and then they used it out in the public world to do stuff. And they could do it because you showed no interest in your birthright. But when you come back from being lost beyond the seas, now that you've returned, you say, hey, I want my portion back. Well, and they go back into the catalogs, and they go, okay, yeah, Darren, here's your chunk, and they give it back to you. The moment they give you back your portion, the national debt just drops. Why? Because they just paid out an obligation. They don't owe it to you anymore. They took it off of the ledger. Now, if enough of us do this, the national debt is going to come down substantially to the point where we pay the whole thing right off.
Now, what does it mean? It discharges duties and obligations of the government to the people.
So when the people who are entitled to be paid back come forward, well, when there's enough paying back being done, pretty soon there's going to be nothing left to pay off. It will all be paid off. That's discharging the government's duties by doing what they're supposed to as your servant. You know what? As the trust's servant, not yours. Yeah, that's just one more little layer, but.
Now, notice the last part of this slide, loved ones, that debt from the system is now met with equity, which makes it go away. And when you have an endless supply of equity, you can see how we can erase debt.
So, again, this is a power. Actually, I don't want to spoil this. I think this is coming. So, hang on.
Okay, family, let's go into question number 9. Legal and equity both have a try. Title, right, and income. True or false?
Yeah. I'm like,
It's just switching. Okay, family, answer is false. Legal and equity both have a try. No, they have a title, right, and interest, not an income. That one was a tricky one. We wanted to see if you're paying attention. So when we refer to try, moving forward, it's your title, your right, and your interest. Okay? All right, question number 10. What does absolute title mean? So this is now a layering from our episode 2. Does it mean A, you have an equitable try? B, you have your legal try? C, you have your equitable and legal try? Or D, Her Majesty owns the rights to your legal try? Okay, family, we seem to have a lot of answers of A and C, but what does your absolute title mean? C, you have your equitable and your legal try. Now, the reason for this is you have your equitable title, as it says on the screen, by being a child of God. There's your equitable title. And through remembering, you take your equitable interest, your idea, and your equitable right, the keys, through your trust expression, because you remembered that you have a legal interest and right to take your legal title represented by the birth certificate. And through both of this, you absolutely have everything you need to make your mistake right. Absolute title means legal, it means equitable. You have your legal already. Most of your equitable title is the remembering part, expressing it, getting it back to who it's supposed to be in the hands of. Okay, so let's move on to question number 11. The equitable title right and interest to your Ferrari will only be put into your name once you return the legal tri to Her Majesty. True or false? Okay, we got a lot of truths in the house. The equitable title right and interest to your Ferrari will only be put in your name once you return the legal tri to Her Majesty. Family, false. The equitable tri to your Ferrari gets put in your trust's name, not yours. Do you want to be in the game or do you want to be out? If you want it in your name, guess where you are? Game of sin. You just change cars.
And this kind of supports this idea where, you know, commercially, as far as we can remember, and our parents and grandparents, if a man or woman is looking to achieve a little bit of tax sheltering, what they do, they go start a corporation. And then they start running assets and property through a corporation to get a lower tax bracket. And then that corporation will pay the man or woman. This scheme is almost the same thing as a trust creation. However, those corporations are built for persons, dead things, whereas the trusts are created for the living man and woman. Very similar structures and methods in terms of tax sheltering, but two entirely different worlds.
So yes, it was meant to be tricky. Read the words carefully. This is why we encourage minding your words. We have a fantastic course out about that gets you dialed into certain words where you can actually just read the energy and know something's off. Imagine taking a test that way.
And again, you can see, loved ones, how this is sharpening and quickening our ability to discern questions. Okay, not required, useless, no good, don't know, right there. That was the trigger, right? Or that was the event, or that was the meat of the situation. And then we can actually just assimilate these things much quicker than we ever could before.
Okay, question number 12. Once you return the legal tri to Her Majesty's dealership, putting the equitable tri in your trust name allows the Ferrari to act, engage, and to speak on your behalf. True or false? Okay, family. So, if you answered true to question 12, you are correct. The reason for that is if you were speaking to anything legal, you were acting as the person and you were in the game. This is why we are strongly encouraging you, loved ones, to use your trust. If you're in the game, something has to replace you. That's the only way you can leave the game. You can't just go, peace. The game doesn't let you do that. You must be replaced. So do you want to replace yourself just with another dirty car? Or do you want to let your trust replace you and you leave the game, and any way you interact with the game is now through your trust? Okay?
We're going to suggest, loved ones, that adopt this practice with every correspondence you have with any entity or governmency moving forward. Do not answer the phone as, oh yeah, this is Darren, how may I help you? No. Equity will not aid a volunteer. How may we help you? Or, you could literally pick 3 or 4 maxims that you could literally answer the phone with. This establishes the trust, the new relationship right out of the gate. And now whoever's trying to kick in your door and demand money, now they have to get through this trust you just expressed. It's literally a shield that protects you, your family, the assets, everything.
Okay, so there might be a little bit of confusion, for instance, around how this Ferrari can act, engage, and speak on your behalf. So can you give some clarity on that, please?
Well, we've got this idea, this notion set up that the Ferrari is the title. You are the interest, and you have the keys. So you put these 3 things together, creates a perfect title in Equity. Well, we can take this perfect title and we can move it around. We can do stuff with it. We can park this thing, this Ferrari, in a trust. We can park it into a trust parking lot. And there, this car is going to do things for us. This car tells the world, hey, the driver here, or the man or the woman behind the wheel, they've done some stuff. Clearly, they're successful. They're not average. They're not like the public. Something's different here. So it's literally a warning. Our equitable title, right, and interest all brought together serves as a vehicle or a Ferrari so that you can go and enjoy life on the highway.
Question number 13. You can express a legal interest while in possession of your equitable title, right, and interest. True or false? Oh, I think our family's getting the hang of this. Can you express a legal interest while in possession of your equitable title, right, and interest? False. No, you cannot. You want your trust to express a legal interest. This is the important part. That's like breaking into Her Majesty's dealership. Hear this. And stealing your legal car's steering wheel and its muffler. Stop it. That's right. I put stop it right into the notes. You see that? No more. Leave Her Majesty's buggered legal car over where it's supposed to be in her lot. Don't be breaking back in to saying, I'm just going to take this with me. Oh, do you know what happens to you when you do that? This is so important, loved ones. That's why we're emphasizing this over and over. If you get your equitable title, right, and interest back, don't you dare go expressing a legal interest.
You literally just take your wings, fold them up, put your person jacket back on, and now put up your hand and say, yeah, I wish to volunteer again to be liable.
Missed it. Oh.
And if the system catches us doing that, there's actually, I don't want to say consequences, but they really frown on it. They really, really, really suggest you don't do that.
And if you're worried about the legal consequences, wait till you hear fathers.
Stay out of the legal system.
Don't do it.
Let your trust do all the dealings for you. Why? Because this is right out of Canada's federal tax manuals or their stuff. A trust can reasonably be expected to act as an agent for its beneficiaries. So now you have this thing called a trust acting for you. You don't need to act anymore.
Now, are we saying You can't express a legal interest through your trust? No.
The trust filters it. The trust takes your idea and says, oh, okay, yeah, we'll take over from here. Thanks, Diane. And now they run with it. It's not Diane running around all over the place legally trying to attach interests to things. No, it's the trust doing it. And again, what's the trust name? I would instantly start with your surname, -trust, the registration number of your birth certificate. Boom. Those three things in combination right there, very, very hard for a Crown prosecutor to get around that one.
You're going to want to stop and rewind that one, loved ones. There is a beautiful equity nugget just laid there.
Here's an example. I walk into a public courtroom right now. Judge says to me, you over there, state your name for the record. Clifford Trust, registration number 1972-06-01000698.
Boom!
A trust just walked into a public courtroom.
Oh.
And what happens from here is going to be pretty exciting.
All right, moving on. Question number 14. Why is it important you give your equitable title, your Ferrari, to the trust? A, the trust becomes your game piece within the game of sin so you can leave. B, you can interact with persons and express things you want inside from, or that you want inside from the game. C, your trust is your all caps name, the person. D, you never have to identify, possess, or express a legal title, right, and interest. Or E, all of the above. Now, this was actually a question that came in from one of our loved ones from one of our platforms. So we took the opportunity to layer and expand on it a little bit. So why is it important you give your equitable title, which is your Ferrari, to your trust? Why don't you want to take it? All of the above. So the trust replaces you within the game, so you can still interact with persons and express what you want in the game.
Through the trust.
Through the trust. And the trust is your all caps name. You just subrogate. That's the subrogation. And to never have to identify, be possessed, or have any title right or interest ever attached to you again.
The primary thing here, loved ones, is we can't have the legal when we have we can't have our equitable when we have the legal. Get rid of the illegal. Now you got the equitable again. We just got to get rid of something. By getting rid of something, something else automatically appears. It's a beautiful thing.
It's the whole, you got to make room for it.
You got to make some room.
And you can only serve one master. So pick. You can't sit on the fence with this one.
So the moment you can prove, Your Honor, I disposed of that legal interest, right and title, right here. May 18th, when I mailed such and such to the Attorney General. Again, going to be very hard for the Crown prosecutor to get around that one. Prove you don't have the thing.
Question number 15. If you want to make amendments or additions to your trust, and once you drive your equity car to the trust parking lot, you can get out and negotiate the changes with the applicable public parties. True or false? Okay, family, question number 15. I'm going to read it and emphasize the important parts. If you want to make amendments, additions to your trust, once you drive your equity car to the parking lot, you get out and negotiate the changes with the applicable public parties. False. Stay in your Equïty car at all times, especially at the parking lot meetings. That's when it's the most important. Let your car speak at the parking lot for you to prevent any risk of misunderstanding.
You might get kidnapped if you get out of your Equïty car.
Okay, so you tell the parking lot, which is your trust, what your wishes are. And then the trust arranges for the legal car to meet up with your Equïty car. And then this ensures that you can express a legal interest, but you do it from inside of your Equïty car for what you want outside of the game. Visualize that, loved ones.
Just never, once you're in that Equïty car, never get out.
Very important. Okay, so I'm going to do a little disclosure on this next question. This next question is actually so layered. Darren and I batted it back and forth to each other for hours today, to the point where we realized the information was so immense and layered, we had to applesauce it. Okay, 'cause there's red, there's orange, there's crayon, and then there's applesauce, which means we take one of Satan's words or how his system works and we just keep smashing it until it makes sense. And we're going to just seed you with this information because, again, we're really starting to layer these aspects of the cars and the parking lot so you can see how your trust applies and how your position within that is very important for the game of sin. Next question. Once you have perfected your interests, the parking lot or your trust goes everywhere with you. True or false? Oh, very good to our live family. Once you've perfected your interests, the parking lot or your trust goes everywhere with you. True. Now we're going to layer this. I think Darren's even going to draw some cute little pictures because I feel some of his pictures are in order to help give us some visualizations of how exactly this works. But read what it says in the slide here. As you travel around in your Equïty car, it bumps into legal cars. The bump
is intentional
and very important. And as a result, when you're actually allowed to go into your lane to bump other legal cars, your trust property, can you actually explain that? And as a result, the bump makes those legal cars trust property or Equïty cars.
So if you're booting along and you're interested in something over there, you literally drive or travel your Equïty car and boom, make contact. Attach your Equïty car to that legal car. As soon as they attach, boom, interests transfer. And now the car you just bumped into actually now becomes trust property. And it goes back into the parking lot, so you can have access to it later.
We're going to layer that, but not right now. Okay, so let that just seed and settle, and we'll get back to it. Question number 17. What does it mean when you are in control of your equitable and your legal titles? A, you have dominion, considered gods, and become judges. B, your trust controls your legal and equity everything. C, you are in control of the legal and equity everything. D, A and B, or E, A and C. Okay, what does it mean when you're in control of your equitable and your legal title? D, you have dominion. You are considered gods and become judges, as well as your trust controls your legal and equity everything.
Once you get rid of it, to now put up your hand and say, yeah, I control it. No, you see, once you dispose of an interest, walk away from it. The trust will now manage it. We have this personal attachment. And again, it's not our fault, loved ones. This is the public system, the public school system, teaching us to be attached to that thing. That's why this feels so violent, to let go of that thing, because we spent years conditioning our minds and hearts that it's proper to be attached to this thing.
So be clear, you are in control of your legal everything right now, loved ones.
That's why you're paying.
You are possessed. That's why you're liable. That's why you pay. But the whole idea is to get in control of both of them. Okay, let's go into what dominion means, because if you notice question or the answer number 8, you have dominion. And we're going to actually smash this whole sentence out so you understand what dominion is. Considered God's divergence. What are you talking about? No, God. You'll see why in a moment.
Or I don't want to judge, because I don't want to be judged. This is interesting, loved ones. We're going to break this egg wide open.
Hang on.
Okay.
Disturbance is coming up.
If you want to deny being a god, now you just denied committing sin. You denied biting the apple. We all did. Scripture says when he or she bites the apple, they become gods. All done.
Question 18, dominion is A, another word for control. B, your inheritance and birthright from father. C, ownership of your equitable title. D, power over the legal system. E, A, B, and D, or F, all of the above. Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to give a big shout out to my little brother, Liam. Well done, brother, because you were the only one who answered E, which is A, B, and D, which is dominion is another word for control. It's your inheritance and your birthright from father, and it's your power over the legal system. It is not your ownership, and here's why.
Good.
You don't own your equitable title. He does. He just lets you enjoy it through your expression of activating it when you took a breath of life. And because your equitable title is endless from Father, it's eternal. You can attach a specific amount of it to deal with a specific amount of debt. So I'll let you touch on that, please.
So again, because this dominion is a power. It doesn't mean you're going to have $11 billion in the bank account. No, what it literally means is you have power to take any debt and extinguish it. They don't give you a whole bunch of money. They give you the power to control and get rid of debt. That, in my opinion, is better than having money. Why do you want to be concerned with having warehouses full of paper bills? What a waste of trees. Just give me the power to point and click and say, boom, there, the national debt just went down that much and that much and that much. That's all I want to do. I don't want to touch a dollar bill or a coin. Let the trust deal with all of that.
All right, let's move on to question number 19. Why are you considered a god when you're in control of your equitable and legal title? A, you are experienced in evil. B, you're experienced in good. C, you were born into sin and overcame. D, you are in control. E, you can be trusted. F, B, C, D, and E, or G, all of the above. Now we expect this question to disturb and to ruffle some feathers. Good. It's supposed to. Why are you considered a god? Because of all of the above. You are also experienced in evil. Now we're going to break this down a little bit so that you can see why we're bringing this up. The purpose of Earth School is to be born into sin by volunteering to bite the apple and to experience good and evil through people, places, and things. What's the goal? To create a space for God's children to remember, to overcome, to get back your control from which you came, and to prove you can be trusted for the garden.
So again, you may want to deny being a god, but you know what? Compared to dead things, does that not now sound kind of reasonable? Yes, absolutely it does. That's why scripture says, hey, you persons, don't you be judges. Why? Because you are full of sin, sickness, and death. You have no business being judges. But for those that have resurrected through baptism, acceptance of our Lord's word, and so on, perfecting our interests, getting clean hands, and all the good things we're doing, yeah, you are considered gods. You are considered able to judge and be of a discernment where you can execute decisions. And this is going to come in handy later when it comes time to, cleaning up the world. We're going to need to be able to do all of that.
And speaking of which, question number 20. Why are you meant to become a judge when you are in control of your equitable and legal title? A, you know both good and evil. B, to reprove right and wrong. C, to make massive global decisions. D, to heal the world. E, judges will be required to restore and protect the garden. Or F, all of the above. Now, if you've been with us any period of time, you better be putting an F in the box right now. It is all of the above. You want to be a judge because you've been through this ringer of Earth School more times than you know. You have learnt lessons. You have had repeated things come up that you've had to overcome. And when you make it through to the equitable side, you have a right to make global decisions. You have a right to judge, to help heal the world, to restore and protect the garden.
You're considered to have sound mind when you overcome the evil. And when you have sound mind, that means you're not double-minded. If you're not double-minded, you're serving one master. And if you're true to the word, you are given all kinds of perks, abilities, powers that the persons do not have. And while we're talking about judges here real quick, let's say, hey, Darren, are you suggesting that once we clean ourselves up and we're judges, are we above the judges that we see out there every day? Yes, you are. Those are judges of a different kind. Yes, scripture charges the judges to babysit all of the men and all of their filthy ways. But again, that's the Levitical priesthood. They were given all the answers. They just had to take a course. They showed up, they paid their $100, they went to school for 20 years, and now, boom, you're a judge. Well, that's kind of, I don't want to say it's cheating, but you know what? They were given the answers. When we show up as children of God, we are of a higher caliber of judges because we overcame without having all those answers handed to us on a silver platter. We had to, through trial by fire, experience all this for ourselves.
And this is why the world and the garden, loved ones, it doesn't need Equïty wallflowers. We're looking for loved ones who want to be bold as lions. It's one of the questions you have to answer to be a part of our public life. We are looking for alpha presences who are ready to take on a spiritual war, to go and clean out the garden. It's filthy right now. We need warriors who believe in that, not ones who are just going to disappear. That doesn't serve the garden. And we have been clear on that all the way through our divergence messages. And now we're going to bring in a little scripture.
Oh, this is a good one.
To emphasize this point a little more.
Psalms 82, 1-8. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. So Father is judging among the gods. Interesting. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Boom, dynamite right there. So this scripture is telling us to do this, though. Defend the poor and the fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and the needy. Deliver the poor and the needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Out of course means misaligned. I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men. Oh, that's interesting. That's the person death right there. That's the resurrection we're talking about right there. And fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. If you just inherited all nations and you have dominion, that means you better be able to manage and maintain it. You better have some judgment skills. How are you going to manage if you can't make decisions? This particular chunk of scripture has got 3 incredible parts in it. This is one of my favorite ones now. Again, I had read this one in the past, but when I read it this morning to include it in today's segment, it's like, wow, this is, again, right at the top. This is one of my favorite ones again. Beautiful. Father is calling us gods the moment we get cleaned up and dispose of the sin. Nice position to be in.
And think about that, loved ones. You get into the garden, you are clean. Why wouldn't you want to find the highest mountain and scream it from the rooftops? Mountaintops, my apologies. It should build in you where you can't help but speak of it, to teach it, to rise to it. It's not meant to get and scurry away. Absolutely not. We're looking for ones who want to run into the garden and fly.
That's Divergence primary mission, is to find other co-heirs in Christ who feel this sense of, yeah, I was put here to clean this place up. I just need the power to do it. Well, here's the power how to do it. And now that you're about to get it, we're just trying to make sure we're all aligned centrally with our objectives. Again, if a loved one's idea of alignment is going and bombing countries into oblivion, well, we're suggesting there's a peaceful approach here, that we don't need to extend violence to achieve peace. No, we're actually suggesting the opposite. We're already in the violence. Let's stop that. Let's give back something that we took without permission. And now that we are clean and we're trustworthy, now let's start doing the bold as lions thing.
And that's why divergence is big on giving forward. If it's going to be given to you, you need to give it forward. There's a karmic debt that is going to be felt. If you're given something and you don't give it forward, it will stir in you, and it's meant to.
And we're all excited already. We can feel this thing. This thing's about to boil. We can feel it. If you look at world events happening right now and where we are, and again, not just us, but other groups and other movements out there that are chasing the truth and the wisdom and the knowledge, you can feel how close we all are. And again, I love that. As a class of people chasing the light, look how many of us there are. And I laugh when I see leaders in the movement throwing stones at each other and picking each other apart. And, oh, you shouldn't be a teacher and you shouldn't be. Stop it. Sit down. Why are you trying to fight and argue with me, brother? Our fight is with Satan. The more you throw punches at me, the more time you're wasting. And I'm not the one now looking like a fool. So knock it off. You chase your direction, let me chase mine. And in the end of all of this, one of us, some of us, we're all going to get there. So stop with the childish bullshit. It's annoying. It's annoyingly comical, though. And again, we'll take all of it because we can transmute it, alchemize it, turning it into a beautiful fertilizer and growing everything we need to anyway.
And
so
we're going to keep going.
Yeah, so.
Nothing's stopping us. Garden, here we come. We love you. Keep learning, keep rising. Don't forget about your wings, loved ones. Do your meditations, mind your words, do your breathing, clear your energy. Very important. Equity is going to become a lot clearer if you do. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.